friends. I'm just checking in. It's Amanda. If you don't know me, I am the owner of Not Just Another Dance Studio. We're celebrating, I think we're in our 18th or 19th year now. And because it's International Dance Day, I thought that I would just check in and let you know about how my dance journey started. Some of you have already heard this story, but when I was about 2.5, my mother put me into dance because I was really shy. And that continued for a lot of my life. I was shy, but dance was my escape, and dance has changed my life, obviously because both my husband and I work for the studio, so it's our sole source of income. But more than that, I really believe in what we do, and I believe in giving back to the kids, and that the things we teach them isn't just dance, although I love to dance and move. We're teaching them life skills, and those are things that I'm so passionate about. So that's where my shyness ended. Some people might meet me now, and I'm so good at public speaking, getting better at talking in front of a camera. That used to be hard for me as well, but definitely it helped me to come out of my shell, and so many times that's what I hear from my students, is how it helped them to come out of their shell. Another one of my favorite stories is, actually there's two Gabriellas in our studio, Big G and Little G, we kind of call them now. But Big Gabriella is almost close to graduating. I want to say she's in grade 10 now. Sometimes the years go kind of weird. With COVID, it's hard to remember what grade she's in. But she's going to be working our receptionist desk this summer and next year. And she's been with me since, I want to say she was 3. She might have been younger than that, but she cried a lot that first year. And when it came to recital time, she refused to go on stage and was in tears and crying. And her mother was kind of heartbroken and hopeless, but I said, keep going, it'll get better, and it did. And now she's one of our competitive dancers. She dances on several competitive teams, and she's a soloist, and she's awesome. She's won awards for her ability to tell a story through her movements, which is just beautiful. And then the other G that I have, little Gabriella, there's a picture of her hanging at the studio in Hamilton, so if you look at our recital, photos are all on the wall. And there's a picture of her crying in her recital picture, and she's clutching a little tin of Play-Doh. And that's the only way Mom could get her to get her recital picture taken, was to bribe her with this little tin of Play-Doh, and even then she wasn't smiling. But definitely after that she opened up, and she loves dance. She's at the studio all the time. She's, again, one of our competitive dancers and loves it. She does duets, and she's gonna have a solo, so that's great. So she's come a long way too, even though she's much younger. So that's sort of my journey through dance and my love for it. And today I want to read to you and my friends this book called Willow's Words. It's a touching story, and it's also a true story. I heard about it from one of my studio owner friends, and it was one of her dancers that wrote this book, and it's a very beautiful story, so I'd love to share it with you now. I'm just going to shift a little so you can hopefully see the pictures. Okay. Willow lived far beneath the stormy mountains, past the creaking bridge, in a towering butterfly tree. She didn't talk, but she danced, and danced, and danced. Tree bridge stairs spiraled around the trunk of the tree, leading up to Willow's house. It rested high in the forest canopy, hovering over the whispering water. At night, sounds of the babbling river trickled through her open window. Here she lived with her mother and father. Willow's mother spent her days caring for the baby fairies, while her tired father worked long hours as a woodworker. He rarely came home before dinner time. The great storm had changed their town. Dark clouds had come down from the mountains. They drenched the land with fierce rains. It rained so hard that the paint washed away from the townspeople's homes, and colors ran from their clothes. Everything became dreary and gray. Even after the rain stopped, the frightened sun continued to hide behind the angry clouds. Where there once was joy and happiness throughout the land, there now seemed to be only sorrow and sadness. Willow was in her 9th year of her silent life. Each day she would twist her wispy hair and pile it on top of her head, decorating the bun with bits of fern and flowers. She wrapped the silk ribbons of her ballet shoes up to her knees and tied the ends in perfect bows. Willow went to school at the Rosabella Academy in the castle, past the forest. She did not like school. The other children did not understand her. Willow sat alone quietly at her carved tree trunk desk. She watched the others playing and talking, but never joined in herself. At recess, Willow danced alone beneath the sugarberry tree. Some of the other girls watched her leap and spin. The sparkles on her tutu caught glimmers of sunlight even on the gloomiest days. When she danced, her quiet face became alive with emotion. Her eyes lit up and her lips parted, allowing a beautiful smile to escape. At first, the other girls tried to befriend her. They asked about her ballet shoes and the decorations in her hair. Willow would smile at them, but never speak. After the first month of school, even the kindest girls found Willow's silence too strange. Soon, no one watched her dance at recess anymore. After school, Willow would spend time with her mother at the pixie nursery. She would play outside in the gardens. Here, there was a small bit of land untouched by the great storm. Willow planted flowers in this patch of sunlight. The golden sunflowers grew tall under her tender care. They towered over her and swayed with the wind as she danced beneath the yellow petals. In years past, there were many more flowers in the land, but the dreary sadness had even stolen the spirit of the flowers. Only Willow sunflowers thrived in the defeated town. The mother allowed the young fairies to dance outside with Willow. The little ones would twirl and spin, their laughter tinkling like tiny bells. Willow's mother watched her silent daughter. She seemed so happy dancing with the baby fairies. If only she would talk. They had been to doctors all across the land, even those who practiced beyond the river. No one could explain why her words would not form, or why her throat turned so cold that her voice froze before reaching her lips. The mother no longer tried to coax her daughter to speak. She was too defeated by the sadness that had settled in the town. Only here, in the sunflower garden, did happiness find its way into her mother's tired heart. The fairy baby seemed so excited, even energized around Willow. It made her smile. The mother watched the fairies dance. A spin, a leap, a twirl, and then another leap. Willow responded with her own series of leaps and turns. The fairy burst out in their tinkling laughter. Happy to please the babies, Willow began to dance more lyrically. Her hands fluttered with descriptive movement, while her legs spun and lifted her in a series of graceful leaps. The fairies responded with a simple turn and waited, with their tiny eyes fixed on Willow. The mother watched. She felt the smallest tug of understanding creep into her heart. Could this really be happening? Was Willow talking to the baby fairies through her dance? For the first time, she was truly captivated by her daughter's movements. Yes, she was telling the little ones a story. Willow was talking. She had been talking all along, but only the baby fairies had been listening. Willow's mother rushed to her daughter and hugged and kissed her over and over. "I can hear you, Willow," she cried. "I can finally hear you." A smile burst across Willow's face and her eyes lit up. She danced around her mother with joy. The light from Willow's eyes spread through her body. She glowed with happiness. Hesitantly, the mother stepped and turned and reached. "Yes, yes," Willow nodded. "That's right." The mother leaped and twirled. The fairies did the same. She tried a few more simple steps and then a few more. Gradually, her eyes lit up as well, and the joyful glow spread throughout her body too. "It feels so wonderful to dance," thought the mother. Her movements told the others how she felt. More confident now, she began to dance around in the garden. Willow and the little fairies joined in. They spun and twirled. They leaped and swayed, and they laughed. The light that surrounded them grew brighter and spread further. Little forest animals peeked around trees, and they too began to join in. The joy of the magical dance spread throughout the land and up into the sky. The great storm had passed. The sun was no longer afraid of the angry clouds. It broke through the overcast sky, turning the grass a vibrant green and the sky a bright blue. A rainbow painted itself across the land, bringing back all the colors that had been washed away from the town. Soon everyone across the land danced. The children danced throughout the halls at school. The merchants danced down Main Street. Even Willow's father and the other woodworkers danced while they worked. No longer tired and defeated, they decided to shorten their long work days. Willow's father even came home early enough to dance to the dinner table. As the years passed, Willow continued to speak through her dance, but she started to sometimes use words also. Willow started teaching dance in her castle courtyard. Everyone was welcomed at dance class, those with words and those without, the young and the old, the tall and the small. Even those who thought their bodies could never dance came to class. Willow lived her life happily now that she was able to spread her joy of dance to others. The dreary spell across the land had been broken, all because of one little girl who did not speak but loved to dance. And that is Willow's words. And I know a lot of my dancers feel that way as well, that they're able to express themselves so much more through their movements than any way that they can verbally through their words. So again, I hope you have a great International Dance Day, and I hope to see you in the studio soon. Thanks, friends.